Once upon a time, in the forsaken kingdom of Hopelessia, where the skies were eternally gray and every forest path led to the same 9-to-5 dungeon, there lived a weary doomer knight, clad in black armor covered with mean graffiti. A sad Pepe here, a this is fine dog there. He trudged through life as if his boots were weighed down by the heavy chains of existential dread. The knight's real name had been forgotten by the townsfolk. They just called him Sir Doomington, or sometimes, affectionately, that guy. He didn't mind. Names were meaningless. Life was meaningless. The only meaning left, perhaps, was in a crispy, perfectly timed mood. Our tale begins on an especially gloomy Tuesday morning. Sir Doomington stood at his rickety window, staring at the void-like horizon. The sun was technically out, but gave off the same vibe as a dim light bulb that you're too lazy to change. He sighed. "Another day of staring into the abyss," he muttered. "The abyss hasn't texted back. Again." Suddenly, there was a bang. On his door. A loud one, like someone had kicked it with full Sigma male energy. When he opened it, a wild-eyed wizard NPC burst in, flapping his arms. He wore the standard-issue gray robe of the default mage. "Sir Doomington," wheezed the wizard, "the kingdom needs you. The sacred cope has been stolen." The knight blinked. "Cool. Let it stay stolen." "No!" the wizard shrieked, slapping his robe dramatically like a 2000s emo kid slamming a locker. "Without the sacred cope, the world's memes are fading. The land is turning into pure cringe." Sir Doomington raised an eyebrow. "Worse than it already is?" "Yes. Do you not feel it? The vibes are off." The wizard pointed to a loaf of stale bread on the knight's table. "That bread didn't even hit different today, did it?" Sir Doomington stared at the bread. It was true. The loaf sat there, utterly vibeless. "Fine," said the knight with a world-weary sigh. "Let's find this cope and get back to my regularly scheduled nihilism." Thus, the Doomer Knight embarked on his Dank quest, accompanied by the wizard NPC, whose actual name was just NPC, but he sometimes added the wise for aesthetic. Their first stop was the village of Normiewood, where every citizen lived in a perpetual state of forced cheerfulness. Sir Doomington shuddered as villagers frolicked and shouted empty affirmations like, "You just need to grind harder, bro," and "good vibes only, fam." A merchant approached, wearing an live, laugh, love tunic. "Sir Knight, can I interest you in some artisanal organic crystals of positivity?" Sir Doomington stared at the merchant's wide grin. "No thanks. I'm already dead inside." NPC the Wise whispered, "Beware. This is a cursed place. If we stay too long, you'll start posting selfies captioned, 'Feeling blessed.' Perish the thought." Suddenly, a shadow loomed overhead. The sky darkened as the villain of our tale revealed himself. A massive, menacing sorcerer named Lord Cringethan, wearing a cloak embroidered with Comic Sans. Atop his head sat a cursed crown that read "Blessed." "Ah, Sir Doomington," Lord Cringethan hissed, his voice dripping with energy drinks and Reddit karma farming. "You dare challenge me?" Sir Doomington groaned. "Bro, I don't even want to be here. Just hand over the sacred cope." "Never," cackled Cringethan. "With it in my grasp, I shall make everything ironic and unfunny. Soon, all humor will be replaced with unironic TikTok dance trends." NPC gasped. "You monster." "Silence, default mage," bellowed Cringethan. He began to summon his minions, the Karens. A horde of middle-aged women in power cardigans emerged, waving scrolls of passive-aggressive complaints. "Excuse me, sir," shouted the lead Karen. "I demand to speak to your quest manager." "Ma'am, this is a side quest," NPC muttered. Sir Doomington unsheathed his sword, which had relatable carved into the blade. Let's get this over with. He fought valiantly, slicing through complaints about expired coupons and children playing too loudly. The rules are made up, he cried as he struck down Karen after Karen. And nothing matters. Help! NPC shouted from behind a bush. They're criticizing my energy. Finally, Sir Doomington stood face to face with Lord Cringethan, who held a shimmering crystal ball, the sacred cope. You fool, sneered Cringethan. Do you not realize that even if you defeat me, the world will still suck? I know, said the knight, but at least I'll be the one making it suck. With a swing of his blade, Sir Doomington shattered the cursed crown atop Lord Cringethan's head. The sorcerer gasped, eyes wide, before dissolving into a cloud of unoriginal jokes and outdated memes. The sacred cope floated into the air, glowing softly, before landing in Sir Doomington's hands. When the Doomer Knight and NPC returned to Hopelessia, the world felt slightly better. The bread started hitting different again. Frogs sat peacefully on lilypads, their vibes immaculate. Even the clouds seemed less oppressive. NPC nudged Sir Doomington. You did it. The vibes have been restored. Sir Doomington stared at the horizon. Yeah, but the kingdom is still doomed. This was just a temporary fix. That's okay, NPC said with a shrug. Life is just a series of temporary fixes. We vibe, we suffer, we vibe again. For the first time in forever, Sir Doomington cracked a faint smile. He pulled out a small lute covered in sag stickers and strummed a melancholy tune as NPC sang. We're all doomed, but that's okay. Another quest, another day. And so, the Doomer Knight sat by the fire, staring at the sacred cope. He wasn't happy, but he wasn't miserable either. Somewhere in between. And for someone like Sir Doomington, that was enough. The townsfolk would later tell this tale to their children, calling it the Ballad of the Doomer Knight. But to Sir Doomington, it was just another Tuesday. One that, for once, wasn't too bad, I guess. Moral of the story: even in the darkest times, sometimes the vibes can still be restored. It's not about fixing the world forever. It's about making it suck slightly less, one quest, one meme, one loaf of bread at a time. And remember, it's okay to just vibe and not be a main character all the time. End. Mood.